Well, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Here I sit with Gary Gilroy, which is a unique situation for us because we not only have Gary Gilroy here as our host at Fresno State University for the Lawrence Sutherland 39th Annual Wind Festival, but he's here as the Director of Bands from Fresno State University and an advertiser with Gary P. Gilroy Publications.
There you go.
Great.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Gilroy. We're looking forward to all of the things that have taken place here. Yesterday was just a dynamic day for everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's getting better today. I mean,
Yeah.
yesterday was really enjoyable, and you think you'd be burnt out, but those two concerts we just had were just, energizing. They were awesome.
You bet.
Really having a good time.
Now, you've been Director of Bands here for 12 years right now,
12
right?
years already, yeah.
Yeah.
25 years here at Fresno State now.
Yeah, and so you were doing marching band?
Yeah, I was the Associate Director of Bands, did the marching band for 13 years. I had to restart the marching band because the year before I got here, they didn't actually have a marching band. They had a spirit band because funds were sort of short that year and some things just didn't work out. So
yeah.
And then first year here was just getting started, and it's been a building process, and eventually we got some things going, and we're real proud of all of our great alumni and what they were able to do all of this.
Well, in your time here at Fresno, the university has increased in size and in scope quite a bit, hasn't it?
I don't know for sure. I think so, yes, but I haven't paid too much attention to that. The main thing I've focused on, of course, is how big is the band program and how well is that doing?
Of course.
So.
But it seems to me that we hear more about them as playing
Well,
better football.
Sure,
than they have
better
before.
football, yeah. Especially for a while there, with both the Carr brothers, David Carr and Derek Carr.
You bet.
Things went pretty well there for a while, and it was certainly a great year. This last 2 years ago was a pretty rough year, and this last year they did really well. And basketball has had some really great years too, especially women's basketball, and of course softball and baseball. They've really been pretty successful over the years. So.
And now, so how large is the School of Music now?
I think we have between 250 and 300 music majors. And I think one of the things that we've really increased in size a lot, probably in the last 10 years, is the graduate program. We have a lot more graduate students, and that's mainly because we have a lot more fellowships available. I don't know if they're even called fellowships or assistantships, and that's helped us attract more graduate students. So at one year I had 11 graduate students in the wind orchestra.
Wow.
So it was a lot. Now we don't have quite that many. I was a little crazy. I took a lot of graduate conducting students, and we just don't really have enough podium time for all of them.
Right.
So, but it's been fun. It's been really enjoyable, and I always wonder how I have been so lucky as to do something that I love for a living and actually get paid money to do it.
Yeah. But you and I, we talked about that before.
Right.
But that whole idea is that being able to spend all that time and never have to leave the band.
Yeah.
It sure is a wonderful way to spend a life, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
The best.
So tell me about this Wind Festival and what you've changed in your last 12 years here.
Well, when I first took over, when I first came here, it was just a two-day wind festival, and it was strictly college bands. And then after some years of being here, I asked Larry, I said, hey, as the Associate Director of Bands, I said, how about if we start a high school concert band festival? So that became very popular, and we had a lot of bands coming to it, and it was filling up real quick. And when I first became Director of Bands, many years later, I still did 2 different festivals. And then I thought, it would really be best financially if I flew one crew in. Instead of flying a crew in this weekend and then having another weekend where you have another crew flying in, what I did is combine the 2 things together, and I renamed the festival in Larry's honor. I think that was the 30th year, maybe, somewhere around there. And I mixed it all up. So colleges, they can come here and play, like those 2 college bands that just played, had plenty of high school kids watching them.
Sure.
It's a great recruiting event for them.
And not to mention a great outlet for them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they get to come to a bona fide venue where they can perform in a festival environment and to do these kinds of things. It's great for the college students to have that kind of experience too.
Feedback from these experts and stuff. I mean, it's awesome. And there just isn't a better opportunity for high school and junior high school students to hear college bands, to hear several college bands. I mean, that's one of the easiest ways for kids to practice, of course, is just have them listen to a good band.
Right.
And those two bands that just played obviously are pretty nice sounding bands, and for anyone to be able to sit and watch them and hear, you know,
Sure,
it's really
absolutely.
awesome.
I was taken by the College of the Sequoias. I've never heard of that before.
Well,
And
yeah.
that was a pretty doggone good band,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it sure was. Mike Tackett he's a master teacher. You know, I think he was an orchestra guy mainly, and he started running the high school band program at El Diamante High School, and just turned it into this monstrous program, really fabulous. El Diamante High School is in Visalia, California. Visalia is not quite an hour south of here. It's not a real big town, but I think they have about 4 high schools there now. And El Diamante was probably the newest. And he just had a dynamite program there, and he auditioned for the job at COS. And when he started, it wasn't quite what you heard today. He's done some really awesome work since he's been
I can
there.
imagine.
He's just a master teacher and a great musician. We shared a concert in October, I think October 1st or something like that. They came up and we shared a concert here together. So he's doing terrific work. And I like when my students get the chance to see these fine conductors and great teachers. I was telling you earlier how I require my advanced conducting students during this weekend. They have to watch 8 of these groups. And then they have to write a paper about each one. I give them a whole bunch of bullet points of things to look at and consider with the conductors, all kinds of different things. And so then they have to observe those things and then write papers about them. So certainly it's awesome for those students. And of course it doesn't hurt for them to be in the audience. One of the important things is to make sure that all these bands have an audience to play for. It's kind of a drag, as you know, if you go to a festival and there's just nothing but 3 judges up there and there's no audience.
Right.
So
right.
I have 22 students in my conducting class right now, and so giving them the opportunity to see this is just awesome.
That's great. Well, I'm going to change direction here just briefly, because, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the kind of influence that this man has had on this festival and on the education of those young folks that are here at Fresno State, and they're embarking on a journey of becoming professionals, at least here in training, and they go through this process and they have an idea of what it means to be a band director. But we've got something else. There's another dimension to Gary Gilroy, and that is that he's an extraordinary arranger, composer, drill writer, an owner of a company, Gary P. Gilroy Publications, a GPG Music, and all of those things that are engaged here. How long have you been engaged in that?
Not exactly 100% sure. Of course, I've been writing since I was in high school. My high school band director was Joe McCaskey. Was really good about getting me started and teaching me how to arrange, and I was fascinated. I loved the idea of writing music for band. So I started doing that since the late 70s. But I think about 14 years ago, one of my former high school students and former college students, Steve Martin, and I decided we would try to put a company together to sell. First we sold just marching band music, and now we sell marching band music, percussion ensemble music, winter drumline music, and we also sell concert band music. And our music from my publication company has been played at the American Bandmasters Association conferences, at the WASB conferences, at Midwest, and of course all over the country, getting some place.
Well, and
really proud of that.
I was just going to say that this is one of those things. This influence extends way beyond Fresno. I've been fortunate enough to travel a great deal, and I've seen your music at Disney World. I've seen your music at Worlds of Fun. I've seen your music at Magic Mountain. I mean, it's literally across the country, and the things that are going on there, and the colleagues that I have in the profession in the state of Tennessee that talk so highly about your drills and your music for marching band and the concert band music, the literature that you've composed and things that Steve has done. I mean, it's just a magnificent combination here.
Well, thank you very much.
It's worked out well, and I
Yeah.
hope that band directors, that you're out there and looking at this, that you have the opportunity to look at GPG Music, Gary P. Gilroy publications. Look at that and see the incredible kind of catalog that they've put together here with, as he said, with the marching music, the drill designs, the indoor percussion, all the things with concert music, and to see what that is, and there's a wonderful opportunity for a lot of people. It's a great resource.
Yes, I think it is, and I think I credit Steve Martin, my business associate, and we have about, I don't know, 35 to 40 people that write. We have great drill writers, Jim Hudson, and all kinds of great arrangers from all over the country who work for us and publish some music. I was just talking to Greg Bim this morning, saying I want to publish that piece. He's doing a piece tomorrow with the collective Wind Festival Orchestra,
right?
And it's a beautiful arrangement that he's done. And I thought I would love to get my hands to publish that. I think it's a terrific piece. So,
well, you know, and we've also talked about how small our world is. You just mentioned Jim Hudson, the director of the marching band at Arizona State University.
Yeah.
Jim Hudson and I, 35 years ago, okay, we would go on a drill writing exhibition. Okay, when we would go out, and two others joined us, Dan Peterson and Paul Brizzi, and that we went out and we were doing drill clinics. They would talk about all the different aspects of this, and I was the computer guy.
Okay, yeah. You were using computers back then,
Oh my gosh, it was just starting, you know, at that point. We went through this whole thing, and we saw Jim go from Oskaloosa High School in Oskaloosa, Iowa, to Lincoln, Nebraska, to Arizona State University, Southwest Texas State. You know, down there, and he's just a magnificent genius when it comes to the things that he does, and it's just it's terrific.
Well, it's funny because he and our paths have crossed. In 1987, I took my Bayer High School band back to Summer Nationals, Bands of America Summer Nationals, and there was Oskaloosa, and that's the first I had heard of him. Then many years later, I was auditioning for my very first college job ever. I didn't get the job because Jim Hudson got the job. It was at Southwest Texas State. I think they're called Texas State now. You know.
Yes, it is.
And he did a great job there, built a hell of a program, and then went on. I think he went to Kansas next, and of course now he's just doing awesome work at ASU. So.
Yeah, I've given him a hard time because of my time at the University of Arizona. Okay, because we've always called Arizona State the Scum Devils.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, because I get it. Yeah.
But it's it's great. I mean that the overall fraternity that we have in this field. Can you imagine what it would be if this wasn't the case?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's really
what a grind.
It's terrific. It's
it's
really wonderful that everyone is so supportive of each other, and
Well, Gary, thanks so much for coming in, and thanks for all you're doing to make this possible.
Thank you.
You know, we're delighted as a part of banddirector.com to be here.
Sure.
Because this is an important function, not only here in the Central Valley, okay, but this is something that is going around the world right now, and people get an opportunity to see what's happening, what's the cutting edge right now, and that this activity, this festival, involving middle school, junior high, high school, and collegiate ensembles, and then your fine ensemble comes in and plays the notes off the page.
Well,
you know, oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And you're going to be doing some more playing today too.
Oh yeah, we're playing A Child's Garden of Dreams, of course. It's been a dream of mine to play that piece.
Well,
so we're playing that tonight, and then we'll play it at CBDNA next week on the road. We're going up to the Northwest Western Regional that Andy Collinsworth will be hosting at Sonoma State. Before I do get out of here, I do want to say thanks to all the kids from Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma, and all the marching band kids and band kids here at Fresno State, not just for this year, but for the many years that they've spent, dedicating themselves to this program to make it what it is.
I'm not surprised at all.
I'm really proud of them.
I know you are.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Thank
you, Gary.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate your time today.
You bet.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in just a moment, and we're going to be continuing with the Clovis West High School Wind Symphony.